my Area 51 line. You're on the air. Hello.
Welcome to the Blondes and Booze Paranormal Podcast, where what you've known as reality will be shattered by the truth. Krista and Brandy will lift the veil from your eyes, revealing what has either been hidden or denied you for eons.
Hey guys, welcome. Happy Friday. And you guys have me tonight. Brandy hopefully will be on. A tornado is actually going through her area right now. So that's why she's not on right now. And anyway, oh yeah. Okay. Anyway, so like I said, send prayers out for Brandy. It's going through her area. Today on my way home from work, so we had a work meeting today, and I was coming home and was going down the highway, and the sky was all dark and looked really funky. And so I turned on my little weather thing on my phone, and it said, you know, this area to take cover. Well, I just happened to be in that area. And so literally my car, like the hail, it was big hail that was coming down, hitting my car. And then the wind, I could feel my car kind of rocking. And next to me on the highway was a semi. And I'm thinking, oh my God, he could fall over on me, blow over on me. So he kind of inched his way up and I stopped, let him go on up. And anyway, so make a long story short, the highway was stopped because of idiots were parked on Highway 70, which is a major highway in St. Louis that goes through. And there was 4 lanes, and there was 4 lanes of people just stopped on all the lanes. Like there was 4 different idiots sitting there stopped while they were blocking traffic. It was just awful. Like, I can't believe that, like, I don't know, that people have no common sense, I guess it is. And so I was in a row today. So anyway, I hope everybody's had a happy Friday. Send some prayers out to those still going through these storms and being affected. Hopefully Brandy will be able to come on. I was teasing her when she texted me. She said, it's getting ready to hit here now. And I was teasing her. I said, that's no excuse. I just did an F3 tornado, which is what I found out it was through St. Louis today that I was in. I was like, no excuses. I just drove through an F3 tornado. You can come on the show. But anyway, I was kidding with her. Anyway, I told her to take cover. So hopefully, you know, everything's all good down there and she'll be okay. So anyway, the show started out with Kelly. Thank you very much for that donation, Kelly. We appreciate it very much. And we appreciate you. And hello to everybody. Mickey, you're a member for 9 months. Woohoo! Praying for all going through the storms. Yes, absolutely. Because it's just nasty here in St. Louis and Missouri in general. I think 4 people died from the tornado that I was sitting in today. So it's really, really a bad deal. So try to say hello to everybody until my computer refreshes. So Denise, hello. Gary, hello. Werewolf, good to see you. Val, hello. Mickey G, hello. Let's see. I said all those names. Kitty Cat Whack, hello. I like your name, Kitty Cat Whack, by the way. Mr. G Rides, Gregory, hello. Hopefully my computer doesn't refresh. Kelly Sandiford, once again, thank you for that donation. We definitely appreciate that. Crystal J, hello. Good to see you. And let's see here. Yes, definitely prayers for all those that are affected. I hope I'm not missing anybody. Jason Finch, hello. Good to see you, Jason. So far, my computer hasn't refreshed. Joanne, hello. Rock and Rory, hello. And W. Leonard Althus. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Hello to you. And let's see. Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot. Hello. I'm glad you can be here and catch the live. Tales Told in the Dark. Hello. Good to see you. I'm trying to get through everybody without it. And so far it hasn't refreshed and it let me go through everybody. Okay, so we'll just go on and start the show. Honestly, we are going to talk about, do you guys believe that movies can be cursed? Because I've heard like so many different movies over the years, like the sets and just different weird oddities, bad things happen on show sets. And so people say that maybe that they're cursed. So, there's several out there that are known that I've heard of, but then there's some on here that I didn't realize they say were cursed. So I think some of these are pretty interesting. So the first one that we'll talk about is The Omen. And I'm just going to kind of read this to you so you guys kind of know where we're at and about what it's about. So The Omen is a film about a couple who unknowingly adopt a child who's the Antichrist. Unexpected deaths and misfortune surround the child in the movie, but death and misfortune also surround the movie's production. The producers were allegedly warned that if they were going to make a film about the devil, do not be surprised if the devil tried to stop it. The Omen's cursed movie trouble started in pre-production when lead actor Gregory Peck's son died of suicide 2 months before the filming began. Then, as Peck and another producer flew to London to start filming, both planes were struck by lightning. When The Omen's filming started, the production saw plenty of unfortunate events. A plane that was meant to be used for aerial shots was switched at the last minute, and the initial plane the crew was meant to board reportedly crashed, killing everyone on board. It says one memorable scene featuring angry baboons at the zoo required an animal trainer. Unfortunately, the animal trainer was killed by a tiger the day after filming. The Omen's closeness to tragedy can be viewed as accidents and even lucky circumstances in the film's favor, but the events gave the film more notoriety, as some viewers believe The Omen's production is cursed to this day. So I had never heard about that one. So I find that quite interesting. So I apologize if I miss anybody in chat or miss anything in chat, only because I'm looking at another screen and I can't see the chat. So I apologize right now for that. Hold on here 1 second. Okay. So let me go back. So anyway, that's kind of an interesting one. This one I did not know about. And so this one I find pretty interesting myself here for this movie. So Superman, have you guys ever heard about that? About Superman being cursed? The Superman movies? I have never heard of that. So it says the Superman curse refers to violent tragedies for actors who played the famous DC Comics character. The curse was originally initiated when George Reeves played Superman in the 1950s television series, The Adventures of Superman. In 1959, Reeves died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The curse continued with his son, Christopher Reeves, who played Superman in the late 70s and 80s and 4 classic Superman films. In addition, Reeves suffered a horse riding injury that left him paralyzed from the neck down. The two terrible tragedies involving Superman lead actors created the urban legend of the Superman curse, but many other actors have played the iconic character in television and film without injury. So I don't know. What do you guys think? I don't know. Just interesting. I had never heard that about the Superman. I knew about Christopher Reeves having that horse accident. And then I know, he was paralyzed from that. Just kind of sad stuff, Hello, Paul. See you in chat. Okay. So did anybody else know about the Superman curse? Because that was news to me. Let's see here. This one is one that I've heard of before, and it's really very sad. It's Poltergeist. There's a lot happened with Poltergeist. It says Poltergeist continues to be a horror staple and encapsulates 80s suburbia while delivering constant chills. But the most chilling part of Poltergeist is what happened behind the scenes. The Poltergeist set is infamous for using real human skeletons in its memorable reveal that the Freelings family house was on native burial ground. The irony is that many believe that the film's use of real skeletons caused the poltergeist curse and premature deaths of the film's actors. Dominique Dune, who played the family's eldest daughter, Dana, was murdered by an abusive ex-boyfriend 5 months after Poltergeist premiere. The film's youngest and arguably the most iconic star, Heather O'Rourke, shockingly died of cardiac arrest at 12 years old after an unknown genetic intestinal issue. While the film continues to find new horror audiences each year, Poltergeist's story is now famous with its unfortunate deaths. O'Rourke may have passed, but her delivery of the infamous line, "They're here," lives on in cinema forever. So had you guys heard about that one before? Truth or tinfoil, if you would read the chat, our group chat, Brandy said she's in the middle of a tornado. So Randy, you're welcome to hop on if you'd like to. Let's see here. I'm trying to kind of look through chat as I can. So yeah, anyway, I think, so Mickey G says that, the guy that unalived her is out of prison and living life. Okay. I did not know that, but that, I mean, it's been a long time, so he did his time, I guess. I see where you and Monica discussed on her show. That's cool. But I've heard other things too. And actually Ghost Adventures, I'm not a big fan of them, but I did see where they put out an episode. They went to the Poltergeist house because it's haunted. And so they went to the Poltergeist house and they did an investigation there. So how can it not be like, oh, there's BMR. Come on up, BMR. How can it not be haunted? They use like real skeletons in the freaking movie. Like, who the freak does that? You know, like, hey, how are you?
Hey, how are you? Were you talking to me?
Yes, I am. I said hello to everybody in chat already.
You did a great job. Yes, I just saw your text.
Yeah. Brandy's going through the tornado. I went through it earlier. Yeah, so that's why Brandy's not on right now. And I told Randy he's welcome to hop on with us too. But I'm talking about movies being cursed. What do you think, BMR?
I think absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, that's an easy one. Now, do I know that movies are cursed? No, I don't know that. However, I tell you what, since you know me, and I only found this out over the last several years,
Mm-hmm.
I tell you, when you watch certain movies or TV shows, I've noticed a lot of weird things happen with me personally.
I know we've talked about that. You want to tell the folks that's watching about?
Well, yeah, well, I can. I mean,
might as well. We have another hour and 15 minutes, so go ahead. We'll get on to the movie.
Have you been on that longer?
Talk about, but talk about what happened to you.
Okay, well, people have kind of heard this, and it's the most terrifying thing. I mean, so what I like to do, everybody, is I like to watch all these dumb B-roll movies. Not exactly, you know, Paramount, you know, A+ as you go to the theater. But I like watching dumb B movies, and I find them on YouTube all the time. A lot of them are paranormal. And a lot of them you come across, and I haven't done this in a long time because it just terrified me. I started watching these occult films, right?
Mm-hmm.
Devil worship, you know. Didn't know what they were. I just saw it was a cool thumbnail. So I was just.
We have company real quick too. Hey,
Randy. Hey, Randy.
Hey, Randy.
Hola, ¿cómo está?
¿Cómo estás tú, amigo?
Sí, así.
De nada. De nada.
Muy bien. Move on. Come on.
Move on. Move on. Yeah, that's a good one.
I don't know what.
Que pasa muerte. Little muerte. So anyway, so as
wait. Why are you asking me if I'm dead? What?
I don't know. It must be the background. I don't know. It's all blurry.
Anywho,
that's the only Spanish I know, Randy. So I just spewed it off.
I know enough to get myself in trouble.
Whereas other than Esta El Baño,
I don't know what that means.
Where's the bathroom?
Where's the bathroom? Yeah.
I know.
All you
I know.
need to know
cuss
is
words.
all you need is to say un cerveza por favor. That's all
Yes.
you
Where
need to
is the
know.
beer? Where is the beer? Yes. I
One
know
beer,
that one.
please.
I know that one as well. In fact, it was funny, and I'll get back to the story in a minute, Krista, because Randy brought it up. I did not know this. Randy, maybe you heard this on the news.
What's that?
I like Modelo beer. Okay,
Yeah.
it's Mexican lager.
Yep.
I don't like the dark. I like the crispy,
You like
lighter
regular
one.
especial?
Yeah,
Yeah.
especial.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you know that in the United States, that is overtaken as the number one selling beer in North America?
I heard it the other day. Actually, yeah, I did hear
Really?
that.
Yeah.
Because quite frankly, I hate to say it like this because I've always been a Miller Lite guy my entire life until I really started drinking Shiner here in Texas.
Yeah,
But
right.
Modelo is such a better beer than the Anheuser-Busch's,
Yeah.
Hey,
the
now.
Budweiser.
Yeah.
Once again,
Talking
it's
bad
still a
on
better beer.
Bush.
Yeah. I'll tell you this, Randy. Throughout my entire life, I was a Budweiser guy.
Yeah.
Then I switched to Bud Light, and I've been drinking Bud Light in probably a decade. And you
Yeah.
know what? Everyone's going to think I'm cheap, but I've switched to Busch Light.
That's
In
still
fact,
It's the
when
same thing.
it's better than Bud Light, and it's more refreshing. In fact, when I went out and hung out with Krista the other year, a couple of years ago,
Mhm.
we went to this little bar in her neighborhood, and I
Yeah.
wanted to know if they had Busch Light. And it was so funny, though. I'm such a dummy. In Missouri,
in St. Louis too.
yes,
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, the entire outside of the bar is decorated in like Busch Light
Yeah.
advertising.
Budweiser, Anheuser-Busch.
Yeah, and I
Yep.
didn't even like pay attention. And I said to the barmaid, the bar waitress, I go, "Hey, dumb question. You have Busch Light here?" She looked at me like, "Oh, you're an out of towner."
Yeah, you're not
And
from
then I
here.
looked, and like Busch Light is plastered all over the bar.
All over everything, right?
Yeah. So
Well, and that's like around here, for whatever reason, growing up here, Coors Light was the thing. Everybody loved Coors Light. Can't stand Coors Light for nothing. But they come out with Keystone. Well, Keystone is the same thing as what Busch and Natural Light are to Anheuser-Busch, to Budweiser and Bud Light. Because you got Busch and you got Natural Light, right?
Yeah.
They're basically the bottom of the barrel Bud Light and Budweiser for the most part. Same thing with Keystone. It's basically the bottom of the barrel Coors Light. But you say that to somebody and you think it's fighting words. The bar I ran, we had to have Keystone in the can. Somebody said, "Well, you can get Keystone in the bottle." I said, "I'd like to know where it's at because I've never been able to find it." So
yeah. Really quickly, now move on with my little back on topic. I sold Keystone at the bar for a couple of years, and
yeah,
it just didn't move. So
The only beer that I will drink, well, there's two beers I will drink. I like Bud Light Lime, thanks to my dad, got me hooked on that one.
Okay.
And then I like Michelob Ultras too.
Yeah, no,
that's not beer.
It's
not. Randy, it's not a beer that you and I think of, but I tell you what, the women love ultralight.
Trust me, it's not just the women. I know a bunch of guys that do the same thing.
No.
I always walk up to them. I literally will walk up to them and said,
it's not real beery.
No, because it's water that's colored and got a little carbonation to it. That's what it is.
There you go.
Yeah.
Same with like Bud Light Lime. It's not real beery. You got that other taste.
But the thing is, though, there's nothing supposedly to stop the taste of beer in the Michelob Ultra unless you get the cactus lime and all that other crazy crap that they do with it now.
Yeah,
you can only polish up a turd so much,
The thing about ultralight, Mick Ultralight, is they come in those thin little cans.
Yeah.
And you can like gun them in. I can gun them in under 2 minutes.
Once again, we're talking about something though that it's got the same amount of alcohol in it, quote unquote, but it has none of the beer
quality. It don't have the taste. It's not full body.
Yeah, to me it doesn't have. Yeah,
I'm with Werewolf.
I'm with Werewolf.
Werewolf says I like free beer.
Yes, number one. Oh, you hit it like I did. Number one, free. That's the first matter right there.
Yeah, it can be free. Otherwise, well, now we're going on a different topic, and I'd hate to talk about beer all day. The only beer that I will not drink for free because I cannot stand it, and I'm sorry to our friends in Canada, I can't drink Labatt. I just cannot.
Oh yeah, Labatt's kind of it's kind
Skunky.
of like Blue Moon. It's an acquired taste, really. It really is.
And another expensive beer that tastes to me like skunk is Heineken. I am not a Heineken fan.
You know what? I never was either. But then I went to the Heineken brewery, actually in the Netherlands. Holy crap! That and the gross.
Why I stick to wine, guys.
Oh, I'm telling you right now, there's nothing like you go wine tasting things. You go to wineries, stuff like that.
That's fun.
Well, they got the same thing in Germany. You go to breweries like that.
Yeah, yes. I've done all those tours. I've done the tours with the beer factories, and they give you 8 2-ounce glasses of all their beers. Yep. That's really cool. But I will say this: in Traverse City, Michigan, I went to a winery for wine testing, my first time ever.
Yeah.
And I will say, Randy, I'm not a wine connoisseur and stuff, but
me neither.
I will tell you this. I enjoyed that experience, and then I actually bought about 6 bottles to bring home.
And if you get the right ones that you like, it is what it is,
No. With a good steak, it's not bad.
Hey, I grew up when my mom would get wine. It was always Lancers.
Okay.
It was always Lancers, so Lancers used to be one of the best wines there was, and they don't make it anymore. So
yeah. Well, we have good wine here in the state of Michigan and beer as well.
Yeah.
So, but with that being said,
curses.
We're
talking about curses, right?
Guys, going to talk about cursed movies. So
cursed movies. Yeah, we're going to go back.
With us.
We could do a 5-hour show on beer alone.
You ain't
that's a late night show topic.
That will have to be a show we'll put together, probably on a late night, maybe.
But we need to make sure we have samples with us at all times.
Oh,
right.
Great idea.
No, that's for Donny Cho's show. You know what?
He don't drink.
You know what? Tennessee, Kentucky, Bigfoot said Boone's Farm. I remember Boone's Farm.
Yeah.
I would
Strawberry Hill.
Say, I would drink it to this day. Why not?
Oh, I will. I'll tell you a quick story before we move on to the
Kool-Aid with alcohol.
I was drinking, and I don't know why, Boone's Farm. When in the 80s, all the girls drank the Boone's Farm Strawberry Hill.
Yep.
And us guys, we weren't working
Mad Dog.
In high school.
I like Mad Dog 2020. Thank you. I like
Randy. Okay, Mad Dog 2020.
The grape was the best one.
I had the grape. Me and my best friend Brian, that I hate, that I always talk about on the podcast. We had a bottle of the Mad Dog. We also had a 5th of Jack Daniels. So
that's a heck of a mix there.
Yeah, so we're outside this party, and he and I had the 5th, and we had the bottle, and we're out there. We're both slamming it back and forth. And Golo Rob decides to go on a walk because I'm starting to really feel it, right?
Okay.
And I never drank that Mad Dog ever. Jack Daniels, once in a while, but I'm more of a beer guy regardless. So I'm getting woozy, and I can tell that I'm getting lit. So I walk about a half a block down, and all of a sudden, you guys, it's coming. I got to throw up. So I darted down up this person's driveway.
Oh.
And the house that I walked up was white aluminum sided. And I heaved on the side of this white aluminum siding.
Yeah.
And I spewed grape color all over it.
Ooh, did you stain it?
Oh, listen, I'm not done yet. I fell down and I passed out for about 20 minutes. Literally, I did. And my buddy found me. I don't know how. Woke me up, and I looked at my beautiful grape mist that I sprayed. I'm like, oh my gosh, I felt so bad, right? We get back to the party. A week later, I drive past this house. That stain was embedded in their aluminum siding.
Oh my
God.
God.
That homeowner had to be mad.
Oh, there's Brandy.
Oh, good. I can leave now.
Hi, Brandy.
I made it.
Are you alive?
Well,
I am.
This show is totally derailed.
Hey, that's what you get for telling me to come on here.
Well, that's okay, because I'm going to derail you just a little bit more.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Something just happened to me that is totally new in my home.
Shit.
So my mother came home yesterday, so I have her home. So we are moving really slow. So when we have a tornado warning, my mom is moving slow, right?
Mhm.
So I get her in there, get all the stuff and gather her up, I guess I did everything but throw her in there myself, but you know what I mean. So we're just sitting there waiting. Well, my air's not working. Guess what?
Oh.
My air's not working. So it is sweltering in this house.
Oh, I bet.
Okay. So, it blows over to the point where we're like, okay, we're going to come out. So she goes on into her room and I come into my bathroom and I'm, trying to pull my hair back and make myself presentable to come on. And I hear a knock in my bedroom. Now, knocks in my bedroom, they happen all the time. I am so used to them. I'm just like, another knock, whatever.
Yeah.
But today I got a whistle.
Ooh.
Mm.
And
Did
it
you
went.
capture it? Did you capture it in something?
Yeah.
No, I'm brushing my hair.
Oh, well, see, there you go. I just cannot believe it. If you just didn't get it.
I know, right? So I'm brushing my hair, and then
Yeah.
this happens, and I'm like, "This is new. This has not happened. I'd never said anything about anybody whistling in my house.
Now, you said it was a whistle, or was it like the woohoo that you were just saying?
No, it was a flat out whistle.
Okay, so somebody whistled at you.
Yep.
Something whistled at you. Okay.
Yeah. My mom can't whistle.
Wow.
Neither can
My
I.
daughter is not home.
Wow.
That's new. I'm just saying that is new for me. So I'm like, oh my goodness. Okay. So I had to come on and tell you guys. I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
well.
no, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's
So
awesome.
I went and told my mom, and I'm like, Mom, I said somebody whistled at me, and I told her what happened. She's like, might be somebody passing through.
Might be. Maybe she's
Just
right.
all nonchalant about it. That's okay. It'll be all right.
She's like, maybe it's
Mom,
somebody passing through.
And you're like, Mom, that's kind of the point. It was something passing through.
Right. This is something new. This is something that's never happened before, and I was like, okie dokie.
Mm.
I
What's the last haunted location you've been to?
Emmaus.
Oh, nice. Where I'm going tomorrow.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Where what happens in Emmaus all the time?
Whistles.
Whistles.
Oh no.
So you carried somebody home with you.
That's
they're
not,
just checking in, going, "Hey, you coming tomorrow?"
That's certainly not coincidence.
We missed you.
So maybe we can do EVPs tomorrow night and ask, hey, did somebody follow Brandy home?
Yeah. Try that and see if you get some response, because like I said, it sounded just like the whistle that we've heard before. I mean, it's the woohoo, kind of whistle.
And we hear that with our ears, guys, too. What she's talking about, it's audible. It's not just through.
So it's a disembodied voice.
Yeah, it's a definite disembodied voice.
That's
and
cool.
I was sitting there going, well, that is strange, because I've never, ever, in the amount of years I've lived here since 2009, and have not ever heard a whistle.
Wow.
You might have a Emmaus.
I might have a little bit of, go home. So I'm saying, go home.
You're coming back up here, next weekend? So bring it back with you. Tell them to get in the car.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll tell them get in the car.
Emmaus next weekend, too.
Yeah, I'm just going to go say, get in the car. Let's go. I'm done.
Yeah, so
go back. I'll take you home. Foul ass, male or female?
It's a male. It's a male whistle.
It's the same at Emmaus.
It is a very strong whistle. It wasn't like what Rob's doing right now. It was a strong whistle.
Okay.
So, and we've heard that before in Emmaus.
Yeah,
definitely. I mean, I've heard it in all different places, but Emmaus has been the last.
We hear it in the area where the lady died in the bathtub.
Yes, we were actually in that bathroom when we hear it.
When we first heard it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Yep. Sitting around the bathtub, trying to get,
trying to hear something, and we were hearing all kinds of things. And then we were this last time we were smelling strange things.
Right.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
weird place.
Yeah. But I mean, I had to come on. I had to tell you. I was like, oh my God, this is new.
That's cool. Yeah.
No, I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
That's awesome, Brandy. And
Amanda says maybe they think you're pretty, Brandy. Maybe they do.
Maybe
the cat calling you. The cat calling you.
I don't know what it is. I guess they must think I'm fun, and then they get here, and then they're like, "Oh God,
take me back,
take me back."
She's a drag.
Brandy, fun.
Brandy's so fun. Take me back. Well, they're going back next weekend. I'm just saying, because I'm not going to be able to handle that whistle because it was pretty loud.
Well, this is kind of a perfect segue, Krista, before we get on with what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, we really will talk about movies, guys.
Because this is a segue to something piggybacking off of Brandy, what happened to me a couple of weeks ago. And I did share this once on the Late Show, but it was just me and Monica. You guys were wherever gallivanting about, doing investigations. So I happened to share this, and I never got this girl's phone number, but I finally got it today. And it all goes back to about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And you guys know me. I was at Walmart. You guys know how I talk to people at the mobile gas station. They tell me weird stuff, right? Got a lot of cool stories from people at the mobile. Because I just now don't care. If I think you look interesting, I'll start talking to you. I'm looking for information. I'm looking for stories. However, though, on this particular day, and I never go to the Walmart, and this is like 7 or 8 in the morning. I happened to drive by it, and I said, you know what? I'm going to pull in here because I got to get something. And then my mom called me on the phone, asked where I was so early in the morning. And I said, well, Mom, I'm just doing this, that, and the other. I'm at the Walmart. And then she told me she needed this particular cereal. And she told it to me. I don't write it down. Right? Okay, Ma, I'll check it out. I'll be home, blah, blah, blah. So I'm in Walmart. Looking around for whatever it is I was looking for. Knowing me, it was probably hot sauce. I honestly don't remember. But then I remember my mom told me cereal. Says, you know what? I'm going to find this cereal. But I forgot what the cereal was. Drew a blank. Not calling my mom. I figured my memory will click in as I'm going down and looking at all the boxes of cereal. So there's this woman, a girl about our age. She's maybe 8 feet away from me, and she sees me. She comes up to me, and you guys, she's asked me this. She goes, excuse me, but this would be an odd question, sir. Sir, okay, so well, whatever. And she says, and I quote, "Are you like into like the paranormal stuff?" And I'm thinking that's an odd but cool question all at the same time.
Right.
And I look at it, I say, well, in fact, I am. In fact, most people know me as Bigfoot Michigan Rob on YouTube. She laughs. She goes, no, she laughs. She goes, I got this vibe about you. I go, really? So we start talking.
Somebody got a dog.
And she's telling me about she has seen things in the past. And I'm like trying to pull it out of her. What have you seen? She talked about ghosts, apparitions. Most of these are hauntings from her departed loved ones. I said, hey, I got to tell you, I'd love to talk to you longer about this. And I said, I'm serious. Bigfoot Mr. Rob's my YouTube channel. Sounds like you're somebody I have guests on all the time. Would you like to come on my show? And she goes, absolutely. So we're talking a little longer, and I'm just enthralled with this woman. And then I forgot to get her information, right? Which Monica brought up to me. She goes, Rob, you get the information? I'm like, no, I didn't. I did tell her the name of the channel. Because she left me on my Beyond BMR email. She found it. She watched one of our shows and sent me an email yesterday. She's booked for the last Tuesday in July, this girl.
Okay, cool.
She's going to tell us about her things.
Cool.
So we're talking, and so I found her interesting. Cool. And then she goes, well, I got to go. I said, yeah, I got to go too. And now you guys, I forgot what the cereal was that I was looking for.
You got so sidetracked.
It was sidetracked. And this woman was kind of pretty, right? And I just thought she was really cool.
Okay.
And I thought she was cool as hell, and I forgot. I forgot to get the number. And she goes,
That's why she's coming on the show.
You should have
in
got the
July.
digits right then.
and look, Brandy, I effed up. But you know what she said to me as she's leaving? She goes, by the way, the shredded wheat is about 4 foot down on the top shelf.
Oh, wow.
That was the cereal that I forgot that my mom told me she wanted.
Oh, wow.
I never mentioned that. So she'll be on the last Tuesday in July on Beyond BMR with me and you, Krista.
That'll be interesting. That'll be very interesting. You know, when my mom tells me to get cereal at the grocery store, she'll say, give me some Cheerios. So I get to the grocery store and I'm like, okay, there's 12 different kinds of Cheerios here. Which one would you like?
It's always Honey Nut. Always Honey Nut.
Yeah.
The old folks, it's always Honey Nut. Trust me.
No. Yeah, it always Honey Nut Cheerios.
Honey Nut Cheerios. Every single. I have to buy them at Costco by the freaking 19-pound bag or some crud.
Yeah.
My old man will run through them in a month. You know?
Unless for me, it's Fruit Loops.
Yeah. Oh, I love Fruit Loops.
I do too.
I love.
I like
Fruit
Apple
Loops.
Jacks too. I'm
But
sorry.
I like
Fruity
Fruity
Pebbles.
Pebbles. Yeah, I mean,
I'm
yeah.
not a Fruity Pebbles fan.
I like any of the fruity.
Not a
I like
big
all
one on
fruity
that.
cereal with the sugar. Really quickly, Andrew goes, BMR, I bet you didn't even ask her for a number. No, I got her number now because I got her to book her on the show. But it was funny because Monica chastised me 2 weeks ago. You didn't get her number and you thought she was attractive? I go, no, I forgot.
Well, see,
Dad.
this is what happens to us old people. We're out of the game so long
Oh, God. Right, Brandy.
that we
Yeah.
forget.
But it was so cool because
That's hilarious.
it's so cool, though, you guys. I said, oh, man, I screwed
There's a
that
game?
one up.
So
But
I have one question
She sent
for
me
you,
an
Rob.
email because you watched our show just
That's
the other
cool.
day. And sent me an email. Hey,
That's
Rob,
cool.
this is so and
Well,
so.
I got one question for you.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you want me to co-host still that night or will I be a third wheel?
Oh, my God. No, this is nothing like that. I mean, you know.
Will I be that friend
Hey,
tagging along?
No,
That's
this
the
is
Three's a Crowd thing, you know.
Hey,
Shots fired, everyone.
Hey,
Shots
listen.
fired.
Krista, I just mentioned she was pretty. That's all I said. She's,
But
okay.
that means she's way out of his league already. Okay.
Oh, God.
Hey,
No, it should be
she
a
emailed him, Randy.
That's not the point.
She's
She got a
interested.
vibe.
She's
We ain't going to guess what the vibe is, but
She might
got
be
a
on that
vibe.
same frequency, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
No. Listen.
What's really bad is that
Oh, it's
scares
gonna
me
be
even more.
It's going to be totally professional. She's not anything that I'm going to drool over during the show.
During the show.
She's just
Just
a
during
nice-
the show, right?
She's a attractive woman, much like Krista
You're a
Brandy.
Fibber.
That's all.
You're a
He
fibber.
I'm about to say he's not believable at all on this, is he?
No, I don't believe it for 1 second.
I tell you what,
Certainly.
now I might have to go back and rewatch Monsters Inc. or something just to kind of get a better vibe about this. But something to kind of figure out where's Rob going with this? Where's he going?
Hey,
Where's Rob?
Randy, I want no attachments.
The moral of the story is that this lady
Yes.
knew exactly what cereal he should have gotten
Thank you,
without
Randy.
him telling her which
Thank-
one.
And
No,
she said-
no.
Yes.
The
that's
moral
right,
of the
Randy.
stories is that Rob's a freaking creeper out there going after people.
He's not a creeper. He couldn't even remember to get her number.
Yes.
He couldn't even
and-
ask her.
From a creeper.
Oh, God.
He couldn't even remember that.
at the gas
Randy,
pump,
He's not a
at the
professional.
cereal aisle.
Brandy, thank you for being in my corner. I know Chris is as well. Randy, whatever. Thank you. I was doing my due diligence as a podcaster to get to the story. And we will have the story the last Tuesday in July, 9:00 Eastern Standard Time. Bigfoot. Michigan
You
Route.
know I'm going to show up for that just for fun, right?
I'm sure you will.
We all are.
Yeah.
We're just gonna bomb the
whole
show.
Misfit boys are
Boom.
going to be there for that one.
Well, I have
I'm
one more thing to say, BMR.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
So if you get hooked up with her, remember she's got to pass the Krista, Brandy, and Monica test.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I'm so far removed from that.
Yeah.
Way to go, Bar. Way to go, Bar.
See, there's another one in love with me. What can I say? Thank you, Barbara.
Okay, I think I just threw up a little.
Barbara, you know I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, what are we supposed to be talking about? Some sort of movies or something?
Yeah, we were talking.
Yeah, let's get on to movies.
Okay,
Go to
okay.
Randy because I got to get my.
I don't know how my whistling got onto this, but it was a fun ride. I liked getting there. It was pretty cool.
Saturday night, we need to talk, Rob. I'm coming to the Saturday night show just so you can relive this all over again. Okay.
Boy. I'm not doing anything again. This is the last time I announced it until the last Tuesday in July.
Oh no, I'm going to ask you on Saturday night just out of spite.
Okay, well,
I want to hear it again.
I'll make sure I buy my own StreamYard for that one, so you can't.
I may not be here. I'll just start putting it in caps out in the chat. Just, hey, Rob, remember when?
Remember when?
Exactly.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
yes,
sorry.
we're talking about haunted movies. And
Yes.
do you think they can possess us or something like
Yes,
that?
and we've already talked about 2 before all of y'all jumped on.
I'll give you my take, but I have to relieve my blushing. I'll be back in a moment.
Okay.
That was quick. Bye. Bye.
He ran.
So we talked about The Omen, we talked about Superman, and we've talked about Poltergeist.
Well, I do have to say this before we even get started. If they can or cannot
Mm-hmm.
haunt you, I believe they can haunt you in your dreams.
Yeah.
I believe that some of these movies are, I don't know if they hit so close to home or they just strike that nerve with people, but they haunt you and they haunt you forever. I mean, a movie, Randy knows a movie that has totally disturbed them since the first time they saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The
So,
whole concept
I
of
am
some of them,
100%. It's The Exorcist for me, everyone. It's The Exorcist. That's the one.
That's one of the movies on here to talk about. Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that. But I mean, that was and still is that
Yeah.
movie
You're
for
talking
me.
about a cursed movie. I mean, a movie that was cursed, just like you're talking about bad things happen to people.
Bad things
after the
happen.
fact.
Yeah. On the sets.
Okay.
And stuff. Yeah.
There's one.
Did you
one
talk
major
about
one.
The Crow?
Well, it's on the list.
Yep,
Okay.
that's on the list. And then you've got The Conqueror. The
If-
Conqueror with John Wayne.
I heard about that one, but it's not on the list. Can you talk about that one?
Yeah, I mean, because what they did, they filmed it in a Nevada valley, essentially, or
Right.
in out in the desert that was used for nuclear testing.
Right.
And they did not do their due diligence and check it. They thought everything was good to go. And people from all the way from John Wayne down, everybody that worked out there for the most part developed some sort of cancer.
Yep.
The movie was so badly, I don't know if it's the fact that it was badly done because it had the star power and the writing and the production to be a blockbuster. And it should have been. You got him playing, I believe it was Genghis Khan. You got John Wayne playing Genghis Khan. Okay, that should be a no-brainer. All right, especially at that time that it was being made.
Yeah,
he just puts his name on it. It's gonna be. It flopped. It absolutely flopped. Wow. And then you got all the other stuff happening with the cancers and stuff like that, and you're just like, the visuals were great.
Mm-hmm.
But once again, it just did not catch with the American public for some reason.
Right.
It probably didn't. Now with today's society and our, if I want to say morbid curiosity, I'm going to go with that. Yeah. I mean, people would watch that over and over again.
I've watched it 2 or 3 times, and it still stinks. I don't know what it is about it. It's the people that are in it with him, or just he does not even deliver his lines as John Wayne delivers his lines.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Do you think that they perhaps were like coming down being sick, like the start?
But nothing supposedly happened while they were physically there. It was after effects after the fact. They had a lot of issues with equipment. Now equipment kept breaking down and stuff like that, and they had issues with film having issues supposedly. That's all. But outside of that, I mean, it's just a normal set from what I understand. It's just something, when something is just off, it's off. And then you can't put a finger on it. You can't do that. Movie was off. The entire movie. I
Yeah.
watched it. And I'm looking at the way they tried to make him up to look like Genghis Khan. You're just like, y'all went too crazy with the Fu Manchus and all that other crazy stuff they tried to do with him. And I'm like, it's just not quite right. I don't know what to. There's just sometimes you get those that just are not quite right, and that's it.
Yeah.
That was one of them.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. As Brandy brought up, The Crow, and it says The Crow's curse is due to the death of its star, Brandon Lee. The movie is about a man returning from the dead who encountered the worst accident during production. Brandon Lee, the son of famous martial artist Bruce Lee, who was also killed, was killed on set after a bullet in a prop gun was fired and mortally wounded the actor. The horrific incident and the film's source material caused rumors of The Crow being cursed, but experienced film crews viewed the troubled production as a preventable accident. The Crow's firearms specialist was relieved early of that day, and the tragedy serves as a warning to movie studios that cut costs at the expense of safety.
No.
Oh, yeah. And that was a sad one.
That was not an accident. I'm sorry.
The Crow?
I am sorry.
You don't think it was?
No.
Yeah.
I do not.
I think that. Yeah.
I want to hear that then, because I want to know why you would think it wouldn't.
I'm interested too.
Yeah.
If you hire somebody, just saying, to do all these props and everything, how did live ammo get in on the set without somebody who was supposed to specialize this bringing it in? You know what I'm saying? How did they?
History's already repeated itself, though. It's already happened with the set of the Rust.
With a little help. I don't think this was particularly an accident. I really don't. Because you'll know the difference between them. Just look at them.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well,
the difference between a real bullet and a blank.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, but now you've got these actors out there that are taking these guns from the armorers, just like with Rust, with Alec Baldwin,
That's what somebody just said about that one.
They're taking that weapon, and they don't know how to clear the weapons properly. They've never actually used a weapon properly in the first place, so they don't know what they're looking for. Those armorers are the ones supposed to make sure that's right, and if they're not doing their job,
specialist.
Yeah,
area.
I mean, even with The Crow and what happened in that tragedy, even the Alec Baldwin one, which is the most recent, how in the hell? Why is there live ammo on the set to begin with?
That's my question.
It shouldn't be.
That's because you can tell the difference. Look at a blank. Look at a real bullet. You can tell the difference.
If you're paying attention, 100%.
Right. But you'd have to be so far out of it, to load one of those out of a live ammo box,
right,
and then not look at one bullet and put it in that gun.
I'm trying to remember the dude's name. There's a dude from the 80s that was playing around with a prop gun that had a blank in it, and he put it to his head to show everybody it had a blank. Well, blank can do a lot of damage up close.
A blank will hurt, because I've done Civil War reenacting, and I can tell you, those little things, man, they hurt if they hit you.
Yeah,
even though some of the police officers, at least where I live, they put the rubber bullet in the gun in the chamber,
right?
And they fire, and you get hit the heart with that, you're gonna die. You're gonna get a heart attack. I mean, it's been proven. I don't know. It's off topic. I get it, but.
Yeah, well, Amanda's right. Yeah. Hollywood actors don't know what real ammo looks like. Yes, absolutely. That's why they hire people. They hire people to take care of this stuff and to show them how to use the props and all of this other kind of stuff. They have to tell them, hey, don't do this. That's dangerous. Da, da, da. You're going to have to do it like this. Blah, blah. That is their job.
Yeah.
Savage Lee. Bruce Willis blew out his ear with a blank on set of Die Hard.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
That's something else. I don't put this up to your head. It will hurt.
Don't put any. Hey, you know what, you guys? Bottom line, don't put any gun up to your head or somebody
No.
else.
Hey,
I don't
period.
care if it's a BB gun.
Don't point it at nobody. Don't put it up to your own. I don't
teach
even
our
care.
kids that,
Yeah.
you know.
Yes.
I mean, you know, I'm not
Don't
that
play.
big of a lame person, but you know what? Even squirt guns, you guys. You know, I mean, as a kid, we all had them. They're cool. You're pointing a gun at somebody. You're
Right.
impressionable at 6 or 7 years old. You don't know what you're thinking. I mean, I don't know. That's just me, but
I
Yeah.
mean, accidents have happened.
yeah.
I know one of a thing that when I was in elementary school, a girl that I went to school with, I didn't know her directly, but I think she might have been a grade ahead of me. Anyway, so she was upstairs in her room. Her brother was downstairs cleaning the gun.
Okay.
Went off, went through the floor. So, yeah, mistakes happen.
Always.
Mistakes happen, and it's just all about being very thorough when you're checking your gun, making sure nothing's in it, and blah 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 blah. I mean, it's all of that stuff. That's why I don't understand. I
Yeah.
mean, did somebody switch the bullets for the blanks,
Mhm.
or I mean, because this person must have been just totally zoned out when they were doing that, when they were loading that prop, just zoned out. Because
Yeah.
we all know if you just look at it, you can tell.
Right.
Well, I'm kind of reading a little bit. Some of this, the guy I was talking about was his name was John Eric Hexum. He was 84, and he was playing Russian roulette with a blank in a 44 Magnum. Now, I'm telling you right now,
Who does that?
even a
That's-
blank in a 44 Magnum it will have as much power coming out that end as if it had a bullet there. Period. Just the concussion from it alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm just like, some of these people, they're not trained. We all know that they're not trained
Right.
properly from the
Right.
get go.
No.
But what do you do? That's why you're supposed to have these armorers, you know. And you know, I don't get the one with what's his name? Because I was looking at that too with Brandon Lee, the guy that shot at him with it was a prop gun, and it had not been cleaned, and there was a piece of metal in it. It wasn't an actual bullet, the way I understand it. So still, once again, we're dealing with a prop manager / armorer that
Yep.
should be making this stuff right, and they didn't
Okay.
do it.
I always thought it was a
So-
bullet, but if it's a piece of metal still,
Yeah, still, it still should have been cleaned. It should not have been in
yeah,
there. and
it
somebody
wasn't
should have cleared
properly
that weapon.
cleaned since it was fired last. So that's another oops.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. So, I mean, either way, it's a tragic accident, and the man should not have been killed. Period.
Yeah.
If
No.
anything, or the
No.
cinematographer with Alec Baldwin.
And it was a very sad time. It really was, because
Yeah.
this Brandon Lee
was
was
on-
on his way up. He was
Oh, yeah.
he was
He was
the man up and
was.
coming. He was the
Yeah.
action person coming. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it was so
100%.
sad because
He was.
I
remember
believe that he was going to surpass his dad. You know what I mean? That he was
Oh.
going to go way past his dad
far as
in
an actor,
longevity,
yes.
you know, in the types of films that he was going to do.
Yep.
He wasn't going to be, you know, set in just one genre, which, you know, of
Yeah.
course, Bruce Lee was in, you know, martial arts.
Yep.
That's where his genre was. But I think Brandon Lee was going to surpass all of that and
Well,
do
like-
different genres.
Yeah, quite frankly, he was a better actor. He was
Yeah.
100 times better
that was
actor than what Bruce was.
You know, it's funny
Absolutely.
because I remember watching that movie.
Thank you, Keith.
Keith.
Keith. I was watching that movie and I loved it, right?
Yeah.
And then as I got a little bit older, I started looking. I don't know how it came across that I knew he passed away through this tragedy. And I started researching it best I could. I can't remember, you guys, if the internet was out. I just remember
Yeah.
reading about the background. I'm like, wow,
right.
that is just so odd.
Yeah.
And you know, I
mean-
guess this is still on topic with this a little bit, but a little differently, you guys. I mean, I do support the right to bear arms, right?
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Me too.
Got to be respectful, and you've got to know your limitations and your bounds. Just because I was just reading here in Michigan, this is like a month ago, hunting season. Now, take this how you may. I read into this a little differently.
Mhm.
A guy is simply in his garage cleaning out his rifle, from deer hunting
Mm-hmm.
by himself, doing his thing, whatever, cleaning out his weapon. Wife comes in the garage, cleaning it out. She's standing in front of him as he's cleaning out his rifle. Rifle goes off, hits her in the head, kills her.
Mhm.
Dead on spot.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mickey.
Now,
Thank you,
Thank you,
Mickey.
now at the time, you guys, it was deemed an accident.
Mm-hmm.
No charges. Then, of course, what happens 3 months later, everybody? News comes out. Yeah, the guy was arrested for homicide. Just saying, you know.
So they figured he did something that really he wanted to do.
Yes, he kind of
Mhm.
planned it. Very skilled with the rifle, hunter for 25 years, knew
Yeah,
exactly what he was doing,
yeah, that-
cleaning their weapon. And they put 2 and 2 together that this guy with this much experience, how convenient the positioning of the weapon when the bullet was extracted from the chamber.
Yeah.
Popped her right between the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That-
So,
that-
yeah,
if somebody's an expert, that just don't happen. I'm sorry.
yeah.
It really does not happen. If somebody is a true expert and a true knowledge handler of weapons in general,
Yeah.
that weapon's going to be cleared before it ever gets
Absolutely.
moved. You know, I mean, anybody's ever been military, you know, when you pick up a weapon, first thing you do is clear that weapon.
Mm.
Doesn't make a difference. And I know I'm calling it weapon. I know people say guns and so forth, so on, whatever.
Well, it's a weapon. Yeah.
It's a weapon. It's still a weapon.
Yeah.
If it goes pew pew, it's a weapon. I don't care what anybody says.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's just laziness, lackadaisical, or
It
just
is.
not knowing. One of the two,
Mm-hmm.
or one of the three.
Yeah. All right. Next movie.
Yes.
A Took. Unlike other cursed films that completed production, A Took and its curse have remained in development for 40 years. The unfilmed American comedy is based on the novel The Incomparable, A Took, and is about an Inuit hunter who ends up in the big city. Urban legend claims that the film is cursed due to the deaths of many of the actors who have shown interest in the lead role. Some of those actors include John Belushi, John Candy, Chris Farley, and Sam Kinison. While these actors suffered all too soon deaths, one could also attribute Belushi, Farley, and Kinison's deaths to substance abuse before their interest in this unmade film.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Well, isn't it funny though how they were all addicted
true.
How is that spelled?
and applied
How's
for
that
the
movie
same
spelled?
film role? You know what I
And
mean?
they're all
Hey.
and they were all on Saturday Night Live too, right?
Yeah.
They were. So Saturday Night Live, that's what I've always heard, like Saturday Night Live curse. Have you guys heard about that? It's not on here, but I've heard people talk about that.
Yeah.
Well, and even look at the other cool actor. I forgot his name. I'm sorry. Whose wife killed him, shot him in his bed. Another one.
Yep.
That was
yeah.
Phil Hartman.
Phil,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you spell that movie? Krista?
ATUK.
ATUK. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to look it up because I'd never heard about it.
Yeah, I've never heard of that movie.
novel.
No, I've never heard it.
Yeah. And also another one from Saturday Night Live is Gilda Radner. Remember her?
Yeah.
Yeah, she had cancer. Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
married to Gene
Wilder.
Hackman
Wilder, yeah.
Wilder.
Gene Wilder.
Yes.
Yeah. My favorite Willy Wonka, the only Willy Wonka. Okay, I don't care what
Agreed.
anybody says.
Only
Agreed.
Willy
Only.
Wonka.
Willy
That's
Wonka.
my favorite Frankenstein movie.
Well,
Yeah.
heck yeah. Come on
I'm
now.
Dr. Frankenstein.
Frankenstein.
And just think, you just said Gene Hackman because he was friends with Mel Brooks and he did that uncredited spot with the old man. Remember the old blind man? I was like, Hackman was a god. I don't care
I'm
what he
sorry,
said.
but Mel Brooks brings back Spaceballs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did
like
not see
Spaceballs,
Spaceballs. I must admit.
What?
You kind
I
of
know.
need to.
That's an old
yeah.
one. You have never seen Spaceballs?
No, I haven't.
You kind of have to
You
see
gotta
it.
go back to the
You really
I have
do.
to I do. Spaceballs.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes you laugh. You know, it it reminds me, it falls right along with the Monty Python, the whole,
Yeah.
National Lampoon, the whole,
Okay.
that kind of comedy
Right.
shtick. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I love it. I love it. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Blazing
No, I
Saddles,
believe you.
one of my
I'll-
favorites.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yep.
That's wild.
Okay. Next movie is this is a
Okay.
good one, and this is an oldie. Do you guys remember Rosemary's Baby?
Yes.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So, filmmaker Roman Polanski's personal tragedy after Rosemary's Baby is possibly more famous than the film itself. Rosemary's
is,
Baby
without a doubt.
is about a pregnant woman who suspects her elderly neighbors of being part of a satanic cult that wishes to harm her baby. The film received rave reviews, but was overshadowed by an event eerily similar to another rising cult in the late 60s, the Manson family.
Yeah.
The Manson family members followed Charles Manson, a man they believed to be a manifestation of Jesus Christ. While initially immersed in hippie culture, the cult turned violent after increased drug use and obsession with Hollywood. We all know that. A year after Rosemary's Baby was released, the Manson family broke into Polanski's house while he was away. They brutally murdered 5 people residing in the house, including Polanski's pregnant wife and Hollywood star Sharon Tate. The high-profile murders shocked the world. Some people believe Rosemary's Baby to be cursed and its creepy similarities to cult and pregnancy, but one of the murderers claimed that they simply wanted to make national headlines. What do you guys think about that? I mean, that's pretty like,
Yeah.
yeah, what really
Seems
happened.
almost like planned out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, literally.
Okay.
You know.
But of
So
course.
I read Rosemary's Baby,
Oh, okay.
and it scared the bejesus out of me.
Yeah. That's
And
good.
so I didn't really watch Rosemary's Baby till I was well in my late 20s. I didn't watch the movie. I
Wow.
already read the book, and
Yeah.
I wish I'd just watched the movie, because the movie didn't have half the stuff the book did. The book did,
Right.
Sound like me with Misery.
Yeah.
Right. And I did the same thing with Misery too. I read the book and then watched the movie. I got to quit doing that.
The books are
No,
always better.
no,
than the
no.
movies.
They
Books are always
are,
better
but
than
I got to
movies.
watch the movie first and then read the book so I can get more information.
Yeah.
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 Well,
But yeah,
Uh-oh.
that I don't know. I still see the baby's hand reaching up out of the little bassinet thing. And
yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
ew. Just ew.
I hear you.
And another great book too, Brandy and Krista and Randy, is of course, you guys know me. I finally watched The Exorcist some time ago during daytime. However, oddly enough, I
During
did
the daytime, what the
read-
heck?
Oddly enough, though, I did read what's his name, William Peter Blatty's book, The Exorcist. I
Mhm.
read
Mhm.
that during the daytime, of course.
Mhm.
That was like super creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
that was
Oh.
way more
Yeah.
way
I've
more
never read
in
that
depth.
book. Yeah, I've never read the book.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah.
Never read the book. All right.
Yeah,
next-
it's more graphic.
Oh yeah.
I'm just gonna
By
say
a
that
long
it's really
shot.
more graphic
And they
than
really
what
pull
even
out-
the movie could put out.
And they really put out a lot more too of the religious aspect of good versus evil too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
anyway.
I don't know. But Rosemary's Baby, it's the one scene with the baby, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just ew.
Mhm.
Just ew. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't even know what to do with it. It's
Hey,
like
Tex.
ew.
Hey,
So
Tex,
let's go from one extreme to the other. So we were talking about like demonic movies. Let's talk about a Christ movie. And this one kind of surprised me. The Passion of the Christ. Do you guys remember that movie?
I do.
Oh yeah.
it's
Good
the only
movie.
movie I
Okay.
watch. I do not watch movies where I have to read at the bottom. What do you call that? The scrolling-
Subtitles.
Yeah, I don't
Subtitles?
do that.
Subtitle.
I don't do it. Yeah, thank you. I don't
Okay,
do that.
so
I
this
did that
one,
for this movie, and I enjoyed the movie.
I like this movie, The Passion of the Christ. It says, while the Passion of the Christ followed Jesus Christ's last days alive, The biblical drama had many unfortunate accidents during its production that led the people thinking the film was cursed. The accidents on set primarily focused on Jim Caviezel, the actor who played Jesus.
Caviezel, yeah.
Caviezel suffered hypothermia, pneumonia, a dislocated shoulder, and was struck by lightning while filming Passion of the Christ. The film's depiction of Jesus' suffering was criticized as excessive and inaccurate, with some claiming this depiction was a reason behind the curse. But Caviezel, whatever his name is, believes his time in the Passion of the Christ is more of a blessing than a curse. What do you guys think about that? Because they thought it was not all accurate, so like that it was cursed. What do you guys think?
Okay.
Hi, Tex, by the way.
Hello. I had to restart my computer and all kinds of stuff, and it still ain't. I don't know. It's acting weird. It's just StreamYard for some reason. It's just taking forever to load.
It no like you.
I was interviewed on another another show, and I couldn't even get out of the StreamYard. It wouldn't even let me out of the room.
Oh no!
I said, "Y'all locked me in."
Wow.
You go nowhere.
Yeah, right. It's like it's like we do. We'll let you in for free, but we're gonna charge you to get out.
There you go.
Yeah, that's what's going on with the conference. People don't know that, but as far as that movie goes, I thought that it was supposed to be the most accurate portrayal of what he suffered. Now,
that's what they portrayed it as.
I will say this: if you think that the Shroud of Turin holds any water, okay, that thing would have been covered in blood.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, if what they portrayed in the movie actually took place, so I don't know.
Well, now that's.
But I believe I might have taken being struck by lightning as maybe I'm not doing something I should be.
Right? And he lived.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I think I have to say this because I did watch an interview with the lead actor as this movie was coming out, and he was talking about how he was approached to do the movie.
Yeah.
I think by Mel Gibson. Didn't Mel Gibson direct that movie? Or something?
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
And as they approached him to portray Jesus Christ, he said, "Well, my initials are also JC, and I am 33."
Oh.
Wow.
So he was 33 years old when he did the movie. So,
Right.
I mean, that was interesting that, that they had those things in common to do the movie. So, I mean, could that have been the beginning of all the issues that they were having while filming that movie? I don't know.
Wow.
Well, he is a devout Catholic.
Yes, very religious.
Quite frankly, he's done nothing but feel good movies. I mean, don't get me wrong. Person of Interest, one of my favorite shows of all time. And quite frankly, he's a badass when he does stuff. But this last one he just did, The Sound of Freedom.
Oh,
I'm going to tell you right now.
Yeah, that was a great movie.
I had goosebumps the entire time watching it.
Yeah.
And how he did not want to just absolutely, how he made it through it is beyond me. The man has a stone constitution, period.
I absolutely bawled almost all the way through the Passion of Christ.
Oh, yeah.
And then he put out this one. Yeah. And then he put out his newest one. And I about did the same thing through that. I'm like, oh my gosh. But
he picks and chooses. He's kind of like Neil McDonough, he picks and chooses stuff that he thinks he's really
got the
has
Midas
a passion
touch
behind. Yeah.
Yeah. He's got the Midas touch. Everything he touches turns to gold. It's just fantastic.
As far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, it's the whole production behind it that made it gold. You could have done that many different ways. And that was just, man, I'm with you, Brandy. I was like, holy cow. I was sad for the whole movie.
The way,
but I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It was just
the way
I thought it went down.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite actors, but the way he can portray a character is so believable.
Yeah.
That I am just in awe of what he does. Like I said, he is very super religious, and all that good stuff. So he's just like I said, one of my favorite actors. He's
Yeah,
just
he's
one
great.
of the best out there.
Yep, I would agree. He's a good one. All right, next
Yeah.
movie. Oh, go ahead, Randy.
Oh no, I was just because Andrew said over there talk about Neil McDonough, in Yellowstone and Band of Brothers. He's the guy that was he was also in if anybody's ever seen The Guardian, he played one of the chief petty officers in The Guardian. If you saw him, he was the bad guy in the remake of Walking Tall. Okay. But Neil McDonough is one of those guys. He's been married to the same woman for I think it's 35 years now or whatever it is, and he will not do kissing scenes, love scenes, anything like that. He is very devout in what he does. He did a full interview with Mike Rowe on his show, and that dude is another one. I'll watch anything he does, just because he has the conviction to stand by what he believes, and he is not going to let it falter in any way, shape, or form. Even though he plays bad guys a lot, but he doesn't do certain things. He just will not do it.
That's cool. Very cool.
So anyway, sorry.
That's awesome.
I love Neil.
Okay. The next movie is Twilight Zone, the movie. So Twilight Zone, it says the movie set accident is one of the most tragic in film history. The movie was meant to be a tribute to the 60s television series and had significant talent behind the scenes. Steven Spielberg, George Miller, Joe Dante, and John Landis directed 4 different segments for the film, with Spielberg and Landis also serving as producers of Twilight Zone, the movie. Unfortunately, while the film was intended to honor the Twilight Zone series, it became its own cautionary tale. Landis' segment Time Out starred Vic Morrow as a prejudiced man who gets taken back in time to experience the historical dangers of prejudice. One particular scene called for Morrow's character to rescue 2 children from a helicopter chasing after them. Unfortunately, during filming, the helicopter flew so close to the ground that it spun out of control, decapitating Morrow and one of the child actors and crushing the other child to death. Landis and the segment producers were criticized for illegally hiring child actors and utilizing them in such a dangerous scene. While Landis avoided a conviction for manslaughter, Spielberg ended his working relationship with Landis after the incident.
Yeah. And it gave birth to all those child acting laws in California. That's where it all got started, right there.
Where did Tex go? Did he leave?
He dropped. He's probably rebooting again. He's having issues still.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You can tell his computer's messed up.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew.
Thanks, Andrew.
That whole thing you just went through. I remember when it first came out, because Vic Morrow also played the opposing coach in the Bad News Bears, the original movie, the one that pushed his kid down on the thing. That was Vic Morrow.
Oh, was it?
Okay. So now when that happened, I mean, so many people were like, "Who's Vic Morrow?" And then they started realizing he was in a lot of stuff. He was a character actor for a long time prior to that.
Yeah.
So it's just sad. I mean, because if for anybody who really wants to go out and look, the video is still out there somewhere. It's out there in certain places, and it's not pretty. Okay, it's just not pretty. I mean, you don't see a whole lot. Don't get me wrong, you don't see, but you could see that helicopter going down on them.
Oh, I don't want to see that. I don't want
to. Quite frankly, he was hit. He was helping them, but he was hit by the main rotor blade. He was literally hit by the main rotor blade.
Is that when the copter was coming crashing down? Obviously, and the blade just
in the water and stuff that they were trying to get out of.
Yeah.
That was it.
Man. Okay. Next movie, Rebel Without a Cause.
Oh God.
Rebel Without a Cause. Billy.
Rebel Without a Cause is a cinema classic, but the James Dean film also carries the title of being cursed due to the premature deaths of its 3 main stars. The coming-of-age drama featured James Dean, Sal Mineo, and Natalie Wood as a teenage outcast who bonded in a world with parents and leaders that didn't understand them. Rebel Without a Cause was praised for its portrayal of clashing generational values in each of its lead performances, but the stars never got to see the full legacy of their film. The most horrific aspect of each star's premature death is the violent nature of their demise. Dean died in a head-on collision a month before the film's release.
Yep.
In the 70s, Mineo, whatever, was stabbed to death by a mugger outside his apartment.
Yeah.
And the most mysterious death was Natalie Wood, who reportedly drowned while on a boat trip with her husband, Robert Wagner, and friend Christopher Walken.
Yeah, we talked
Wood's
about this Saturday.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wood's floating body was found a mile from the boat, but the autopsy also showed bruises on her. Wagner claimed Wood, and he had an argument that night, but maintained he had no part in her death. I think he's guilty. I'm just saying. I just got to throw that out there. I watched a documentary on it. I think him and Christopher Walken are both guilty in that.
Yeah,
I do too.
think
I think
they
they got away
have a
with
little
it.
bit of a something on
Both of them. Yeah.
We broke that down last Saturday, did we not? I forgot.
Well, supposedly
Go ahead, Tex.
there was something going on between her and
And
that's
Chris
what
Walken.
started the argument in the fight.
Yeah.
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 Mhm. I think Robert.
So I mean,
Yeah, I think that I think that they are both guilty in one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, they
Um,
know what
For
happened.
the other.
But
Yeah,
you
they know what
going,
happened.
right?
well,
But going back
rumor
to
has it, but she had also
Go
been
ahead.
drinking and taking some pills,
A lot.
and so
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
sure they all
But
were.
the story is, depending on what you believe, is her and Walken were carrying on. Walken denied it. She denied it, but Wagner got jealous and everything, got into it with Walken on the boat, and then got into it with her. And then sometime during the night, she was so tore up, and she got up and was walking around the boat at night and fell off.
Was.
You know, bruises, okay. You know, you
Right.
get slammed up against a boat and, trying to get back in, that could very well. Should
Yeah.
bruises,
Yeah.
and then he
Mhm.
drowned in the ocean. It's not an unbelievable story.
But you know what, though?
No.
I think that she
But-
was drinking and he pushed her.
And then
And
again,
that's
That
the
could
other
be
side
too.
of the
It
coin.
really could
Well,
be.
here's the thing, too, though. On that boat, I have to imagine that the outside
Mm-hmm.
around the boat was probably a good 4 foot tall. I mean, you just don't fall off a boat that size.
So I'm saying, I think he pushed her, unless she was drinking and, you're on the water and it's, you got the waves and,
Yeah.
I'm
You're on the bow. If there's an
Oh.
open bow,
and you're
yeah, you
moving
just slip
around
off.
and-
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm thinking these guys had a mini.
she was drunk.
cruiser. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, she was drunk and she had Quaaludes, I think, in her as well.
Were they
If I'm not
in the
mistaken.
ocean? Because,
Yeah, something like
the
that.
ocean is just nothing but waves,
Yeah, but
So,
supposedly
like-
the water was calm.
Yeah.
Oh, was it? Okay.
And they were anchored, weren't they? If I'm not mistaken, they were anchored.
Supposedly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So either way,
But
It's still
like you said, I
mysterious.
mean, it honestly, but honestly, if it's one, and I haven't seen the boat, and that's another thing. If you
Yeah.
got one of those boats that the deck goes out, and you've got that rail that's about that tall,
Well, that's
very
yeah.
easy to lose your footing,
Very easy.
especially if you've been drinking and you're on pills. Very easy,
Right.
Right, because you can be anchored all you want, and the ocean can be calm. Doesn't mean it's not doing this.
Yeah.
So
That's what I'm saying.
No, you
throw
can
all
slip
those
off.
into account. Yeah, it's very
That's
often.
good.
It's very, very, very possible that she's
Yeah.
failed.
I,
That is
I,
a good-
I think Robert Wagner, honestly, I really do. I think he got away with murder.
Texas,
He may
you make
have. He may have.
I think murder was involved, but Texas made the great point. We've not seen the actual picture. I love to see the picture of the boat
yeah,
because there
Let
are
me see if I can
boats
find it real
35,
quick.
40 feet long. You can walk around
Mhm.
or you can fall down and not fall off of them because
Yeah.
you're protected by the outside of the boat. Now, some have that little railing where you slip right off, especially at the bow, I guess you call it the bow at the front.
Yeah.
yeah, and they don't know. Yeah, now according to the pictures I'm looking at, it did have that railing up front, but it looks like a 3-footer.
Can you share your screen, Randy?
Hang on a second. Let me bring it up where it can actually see the actual picture here.
Yeah, because my internet is
Here you go. Hang on just a second.
jacked. I can't bring up nothing.
What I'll do is let's open that right there. And then
And there's a
Well, we
very
really need
there's a Natalie Wood joke There's a Natalie Wood joke that's in very, very poor taste.
Okay, okay, Donnie.
Yeah,
It's,
let's not tell
what's
her.
the only kind of wood that don't float? Natalie.
That's not very
Oh,
nice.
Lord.
Okay.
Well, I can see somebody falling off that. in the
Yeah,
front.
you could easily fall off that. Honestly,
Sure.
if I had one too many, and yeah, I probably couldn't walk on it.
Yeah, no. Well, you just slip right. I mean, she's a little woman. She could have slid right underneath the bars or the.
I mean, well, we
Right.
got to think of the flip side of this coin, though. I mean, what if they did have the argument and it was involving the three of them, and she was drinking and stuff and got in her feelings
Yeah.
and just decided, I'm just going to kill myself
Well, yeah,
and jump off the boat.
yeah,
I mean, she
possible.
could
Or
have.
Well,
considering-
it wouldn't be if I remember right, it wouldn't be the first time that had crossed her mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
I think
my
she had
understanding as
attempted it
well.
Before.
Probably one of the
Yeah.
factors.
Or
Now,
she just
Werewolf said she fell off the back. Werewolf said,
Yeah, which is-
Werewolf said she fell off the back.
Yeah, that's what I had understood. It was back this area back here where she had fallen out.
Which
Yeah,
has
but-
no railing on the
I
back.
was still railing in
Well,
the
because
very
it's
back.
a swim area, you know, that's where the skiff goes
Yeah,
in, and
no,
that's
I
where
can
the
see you
slip-
falling
Right.
off.
So even if that happens, she did that. She might have attempted that, but maybe she's trying to say, "Hey, I'm gonna go. I'm done with you idiots. I'm gonna," because they're not very far from shore, really, where they're
Right.
moored up at. I'm just gonna jump off and swim to shore. Well, if you're
Mhm.
drunk and you're stupid enough to do it,
Ain't gonna
you,
make
you,
Right.
you
That's
just not,
true,
you're not
too.
going to. Now, the way I understood, she wasn't very good at swimming to start with. But you know, when you get booze in you, you become 10 foot tall and bulletproof. So
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
and not very buoyant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so
Right.
anyway, that's the supposedly
Okay, well,
that type of boat.
Well, if that's the boat,
Yeah.
yeah, I can see how you could. Any will fall off that.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
so we
Go
need
ahead.
to really discuss James Dean. We need to
Yes.
discuss this car.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
Of course, he was in his
that's what I was thought we were
beloved
going after
car.
right there.
and he
The
crashed,
spider.
right?
Yep.
Okay, so
We've done a show
they
about.
actually took that car
Mhm.
after it was damaged
Mhm.
and took it on a tour,
Yes.
okay, around California. They took it on a tour
Mhm.
and showed it after somebody had passed away in the vehicle.
Yep.
Yeah.
You and I did a show on that, Brandy.
And then the car disappeared during this tour, and they were offering a large sum of money to find out where it was at.
Mhm.
Come to find out, George Barris had actually purchased the car. This is what happened, you know, because it wasn't stolen or anything. Nobody took it. He purchased the car and actually used parts of that car in his own vehicle,
Wow.
which has caused injuries and I believe some deaths. Anyone that had anything to do with James Dean's car
Mm-hmm.
was having, you know, bad luck. We're just gonna say bad luck.
Yep.
You know, and then you know, George Barris was evidently complaining because he was having all of these haunting type of activities because he has parts of that other car in his car.
Mhm.
Now, what story does that remind you of that happened not so far in our past? Flight 401.
Mhm.
You know, Flight 401 went down. They found parts of that airplane, and they used the reusable parts on other aircraft. And what have they been saying with that one? That
Yeah.
you know, they were having paranormal activity
Right.
with every flight that had a part from that airplane.
Right.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, didn't they even have some people actually see passengers from Flight 401 on these other flights?
I think so. I think
Yes.
so. Mhm.
Yes.
I remember that. Yeah,
Mhm.
that was one of my favorite episodes of one of the little most haunted type things or whatever. Not the shows, but the documentary ones. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, they were saying that James Dean's car was cursed. It was cursed.
Yep.
So, I
For a
mean,
long
was
time.
it
In fact,
cursed? when he
Where's it at
crashed it,
now?
or was it cursed after the fact? That's what I want to know.
Rain,
I mean-
Rain asked if the car is at the Zach Bagans Haunted Museum.
Do you not understand what the word Candyman means? Don't say his name.
Right. No, the car was dismantled. The car parts and all of that were used in another one. Now, if the
Yeah.
shell is there,
Yeah.
I don't know. But what's really left of the shell?
Mhm.
It was a very bad accident.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like I said, the guts of the car are gone for sure.
Mhm. Right. Interesting. Okay, one more movie to talk about, and it's the most.
But if anybody would have it, yeah, I believe he would have it.
Don't say the
Heck
name
yeah.
again. Don't say
I'm
the
not
name
saying
again.
it.
Okay, last but not least is the most famous we all know about, and that's The Exorcist.
Yeah.
And it says The Exorcist is considered one of the most frightening horror stories in history, but the set of The Exorcist had its own share of terror. While anything can go wrong during a movie's production, events seem to go especially wrong during the horror movie's production. The movie about a young girl experiencing demonic possession suffered production delays after an unexpected fire burned the set down. The one part of the set that reportedly survived the fire was the young girl's bedroom where the exorcism occurs. Ellen Burstyn also suffered a back injury on the set that left her on crutches for the rest of the film's production. These dangerous events led to an actual priest blessing the film set. Unfortunately, the blessing did not extend past the film shoot, as two actors, Jack McGowan, who plays the film director, and Velasquez Malarios, who plays Father Kara's mom, both died just before the film's release. The troubled production and deaths surrounding the film sparked rumors about The Exorcist being a cursed movie. Yet The Exorcist is one of the top grossing and critically successful horror films to this day, and like many films on this list, possibly benefits from its label as cursed. However, now if you guys remember, right, like, do you remember the panic back in the 70s with that movie? Like, people were passing out in the movie theaters watching that, and it was the panic-stricken movie and things like that. Do you think all that was part of it, or like these people were just playing it up? What do you guys think?
Huh.
I guess it was like the satanic panic back then,
I can see that.
I think that a lot of people built themselves up to that point. I mean, going to the movie, they already knew.
Right.
They already knew what was going to happen. And,
Right.
I made the mistake of watching that movie too young.
Yes.
This is back when HBO had all their stuff, and, I was a young teenager when I saw it.
Yeah, I mean, Brent, you guys know my story with The Exorcist. I was a young teen.
Mhm.
And you guys know I went to Catholic school for my first 7 years, it was, when that came
Hey,
out.
Donny.
Hey,
Hi,
Donny.
guys. What's going on?
Hey,
Well,
Don.
we're talking about The Exorcist right now, and Rob was telling us about his experience.
Yeah, and hey, Donnie.
Hey there, Rob.
And as you guys know, I tried to always watch that movie, okay? And I finally watched it in its entirety last year during the daytime with all the lights on at like noon. I
Mhm.
got through it. I tried to get through it many times as a kid. I remember, though, going through a Catholic school, you got to remember, Catholic school was like, the devil. If you believe in God, you believe in the devil.
Right.
And today I still believe that way. And when that movie came out, you guys, it flooded our school. Like, do not watch it. They were telling us all these things, and so of course,
Kind of like the Harry Potter movies.
yeah. Well, so it kind of piqued my interest. I was scared, but I was interested. I had that curiosity, and I got through the very first time as a little kid watching it. I got through maybe the first 20, 30 minutes until the priest was introduced. Then they're doing the prayers and talking to this, trying to summons the name of the beast and all this.
Mhm.
And this is well before the elevation on the bed, the twisting of the head, none of that. It was just that spiritual religious element that
Right.
freaked me out, because if you going to school, I had to go to church Monday through Friday. It was my first class was going to actual church. 48 minutes. And then after that was religion class. So in my head as a kid, which is why to this day I don't go to church. Not because I don't believe. I believe in God my own way.
Mhm.
It just terrified me for my entire life, from my bringing up through schooling, and then the negative responses from my teachers in school, then trying to get through it. I tried to watch this movie a half a dozen to a dozen times and could never get through it until last year. That's maybe my hang up. I don't know. One
I
of
don't
the
know.
movies in my life that, of any movie that had impact on me in my life, it was that movie, because I finally watched it last year in its entirety with the
Mhm.
lights.
Let's see.
Don't know why, but
No.
that's
Let's see.
Yeah.
I watched the movie, and then I got brave again in my 20s. I don't know. I was going through a phase in my 20s. I bought the book
yeah,
and I read it, and immediately when I was done, I threw it away.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
I threw it away. Absolutely did.
And
Because
I
again,
watched the movie. It didn't bother me.
Yeah, didn't bother me at all either. Really.
yeah, I think it bothered me because I was young and the way I was taught, not from my family, from schooling.
Hmm.
But you know what was funny? And this is such a spin on how school changed over the years, because believe this or not, my last year in St. Sebastian, I had a very a different thinking teacher. Was not a nun, it was a woman.
Mhm.
And we would always have reading, and we did book we all selected a book that we would our homework was to read a couple chapters, and we would talk about it at their last period in 6th grade. And my teacher picked the book, which is totally not. This teacher got fired, by the way, a couple years later. I will tell you this.
I wonder why.
And you know what the book was?
That
I know you can't guess it. It was the Amityville Horror
oh,
that we
Good book,
read
though.
aloud, that we read the entire book cover to cover in class.
mm.
We had all our own. And I will tell you, though, that did not scare me nearly as much as The Exorcist.
Yeah.
But it was creepy as all get out. That's for sure.
Well, I have to ask this question, and it's to Krista, really, because we talk about all the time where that demons can't possess children
Mhm.
because
Right.
of their innocence and blah blah blah.
Mhm.
Why do you think that this happened to this child?
Well, Roland Doe, if I remember correctly, wasn't he like 13? So
Yeah, I mean, past puberty.
right. So once
So is that a rule we're setting up though? Demons can't possess children? Is that a rule? Have we established that? Is that a thing?
they don't have free will yet.
Have we established that as a rule?
You have to have free will, Donnie.
They
Oh, is
still
that it?
they still retain their innocence
Oh,
until
okay.
they hit puberty.
Hmm.
So therefore demons can't possess them?
They can torture them to get to the parents, but they can't physically.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a rule we've established.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. Just making sure.
And anyway, go ahead, Brandy.
But
Go ahead.
I was just wondering. I mean, because it wasn't that far out of puberty. I guess that would have been it.
Hmm. I think he was.
I just can't even understand. Even when children hit puberty, that doesn't mean they've lost their innocence. It's
Well,
just
It's a
something
matter of
about
free
it.
will too.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
the child
Well,
doesn't have free will.
The Exorcist
It
movie
gets under my
was
skin.
Hey,
Mhm.
really quickly, you guys, correct. You guys know the answer. I don't know the answer. I think I know the answer. The Exorcist movie with Linda Blair was it was the original true story was based on a kid, right?
A boy
Yes, boy.
in St.
A
Louis.
boy.
Yes, it happened in St. Louis.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Didn't start out in St. Louis, but the exorcism took place.
Loosely based on, like they
Yeah,
didn't
very
really
loosely.
try to follow any of the details.
Yeah,
or
I
anything.
mean
Loosely based on.
the actual true story of the whole thing is creepy in its own right. I don't even know why they had to change any of it. Why did they have to make up some of this stuff? Because it was creepy in itself. They didn't need to do anything.
There were a lot of there was a lot of like Hollywood friendly kind
Yeah,
of
it had to have
things.
been.
Yeah.
Well, here's the question, and because we had talked about this over on the other show a couple of times now, when we're talking about the exorcist house and such like that.
Mhm.
We're firmly in the mindset that whatever entity that was used that child to get to the priest is who he's trying to get to.
That was my thought. That was my thought. It really
that's
was.
how the movie portrays it.
Because I mean, the priest is who really went through everything.
Who could do the
I
most
mean,
damage?
yes, the child suffered and was tortured, but then you go back to the priest, and even his own family had said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually his I think it's his niece or something that went on. The real priest's name is Father Bowden.
Yeah, and like, again, demonic entities are very methodical. They're slow to jump. They're not in any hurry. They're in the waiting game. They will wait you out. They will wait for the perfect time to do what they got to do.
And it will start like a regular haunting.
Oh,
Right.
Is this correct, you guys? If a demon is around you or wants you, don't they kind of slowly infiltrate you from maybe 5, 10, 20, 25, 30, 40, 50?
Whenever the time is right.
See, that's the insidious
never
thing.
ends for them.
That's the insidious thing about demons. They know all of your weaknesses.
Yeah.
Yep. And they're just waiting for you to show it because they already know it's there.
They know all the holes. They know
for you
all
to
the
trip up
openings.
and
They know where to
fall, be
poke.
a week.
They know where to.
They know literally everything about you,
Yeah.
and I can attest to this because I have taken place part of an exorcism, watched an exorcism, helped with an exorcism, and that person was saying things that they should not have known about people in the room.
That's where you counter and say things that the demon shouldn't know, but then like make it.
Your deepest, darkest secrets, you better make sure if you go to an exorcism.
When a demon says
gonna
something
tell your
really
dark
crazy
secrets
about like your deep,
because it comes
darkest
out.
secrets, be like, oh yeah, you know what? When Jesus comes back, he's gonna elbow drop you. So what?
It's true.
Yeah,
though.
that's true.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, like it happened.
So
Like,
get out of here, demon.
Yeah,
Screw
it's
you.
just like Krista said, if you are going to attend or be at an exorcism, beware, because anything and everything that you've done in
You
your
just gotta
past,
cut a WWE style
out, and that's the
promo
truth. It
on
happened.
that demon. You know,
yeah,
cut that promo.
And you guys are right. The ones that I've watched, Emily Rose, I think it was.
yeah,
Bunch of people
Yeah, the exorcism of
around.
Emily Rose.
Yeah,
Great
that one
movie.
didn't go
Demon
so well.
says to the husband with the wife room, "Oh, did you ever tell your wife about how you've been screwing your sidekick at work for the last 17 years?"
Yep.
Tell her, I mean,
It'll
really
Yeah.
intimate stuff, right?
They know everything. They know everything about you.
I'm like, whoa.
But I believe also just the other realm, like, angels, the same thing. They know
Yeah.
everything about you as well.
Let me ask you guys then. For you guys personally, have you ever faced down a demon and what happened?
Yeah, I did. I've talked about it many times.
Yeah, Chris.
You guys have faced down a demon?
I have
Actually,
not.
It was in my face and I could feel the breath.
What'd you say to it?
I didn't say nothing. I was told to stand there until I was told to move, and I moved and
Oh, really?
took care of it.
Don't acknowledge it.
Hang on, you were told to stand there in that move. Who told you that?
The person that took it, he called it in. It was actually outside, and he called it in from the back door, and I had to stand there at the hallway, and you could feel it like it was a rush, and I could feel the breath on my face. I kid you not. It's honest to God.
You just said you didn't say
Is this
anything
the
back
one
through?
you're talking about? The one where the lady was the only survivor of the BTK killer, right? That one.
Yep.
Okay. So
And it's honest to God's true story.
So, I mean, that alone would, I mean, especially with his past, her past, Would that invite something like that? Absolutely.
Absolutely, it did. It did because he had been in prison for murder. He was part of the M13 gang,
Right.
you
And
know,
she, yeah, and she was
a
a,
prostitute.
So were
yeah,
you
she
not
was a
tempted to
prostitute.
say anything back though?
At that time, like you can't show any fear. You can't show.
Yeah, not to show
You can't
fear,
show
but to show
anything.
defiance.
So
Were you
his
not
heart's
tempted to
like,
say anything back in defiance or anything
No,
like that?
No, you have to just keep going. Like it was the Lord's Prayer, and that's what we kept going over. I mean, like this person
It's
is
like-
saying these things, and we're saying, "Our Father who art in heaven," and literally, like your prayers become more forceful, and I can't even describe it. Like I can't even describe it, but it worked
So you did the Lord's Prayer?
multiple times, many
Wow.
times.
Interesting.
Over it. Yes, as they're screaming at you, as he's being ripped apart by invisible razor blades. Yes.
Yeah. Well, Donnie, remember we've talked about intent like
Mhm.
a gazillion times. Intent
Makes sense.
is what it
Yeah.
is. So
I
you
get
have
it.
to be a true believer in God and
Yeah.
all of this other kind of stuff. So I mean, the power of prayer works. It does.
Absolutely, it does.
Yes, it does.
Absolutely, it does.
Now, whatever your higher being is, I mean, or whoever you pray to,
Your higher power.
Right.
Yes, they
Yep.
call it.
pray.
And that's why I tell everybody, like, I don't care if you're feeling sick or mentally going through something or you're having issues at home, like, don't go. You have to be in tip top shape physically, mentally, spiritually to go and do things like this. And even like doing a ghost hunt, man, when I feel like crap, I'm not ghost hunting.
So wait, my
No.
question is though, then do you have to be religious to do this or
You don't have to be religious. I mean,
It's
you
whatever your higher power
You have to
is.
believe is something.
personally, I believe in God and I believe in Jesus, and so that's who I turn to. You know, but it's my beliefs, it's my intentions.
Mhm.
If your higher power is your rock, you can pray to that. From what I've heard, I know
Yeah,
it sounds
It's all about
stupid,
your
but
intention.
it doesn't
You know,
matter.
some people, you know, they believe in other, you know, other
Mm.
different religions, and that's fine. That's okay. You know, like shamans and different things like that too. You know, it's your belief. It's very powerful.
so then I'm curious about Randy, because Randy, I know you're not a religious dude. What happens when you're stared down by a ghost? What do you do?
Well, I just keep my cool. I mean, first of all, like they're saying, you don't go into it half baked, shall we say? If you're not feeling 100%, you don't need to be in there in the first place. Now,
Nope.
while I'm not a quote unquote, I'm kind of like Rob. I'm not a religious guy. I'm not a church going guy per se. But do I believe my way of believing? You dang right I do. Do I take things, from the Bible? Do I apply stuff from the Bible? Yes, I do. But I'm also not going to sit there and say word for word everything in there is what you need to live
Right.
your life.
Yeah.
Okay. One doesn't apply to certain people. Like the Quran. If you sat down and actually read the Quran, quite frankly, almost mirrors the Bible in a lot of parables and a lot of proverbs. Okay.
Yeah.
But the Quran gets manipulated by fanatics a lot of times, just like the Bible gets manipulated by fanatics.
Yep.
You've got to find your happy medium, shall we say.
Yeah.
Have I ever faced down a demon? No. Have I faced down a ghost? Yeah, a few times. But it isn't facing it down because I don't think of ghosts as being malevolent or trying to hurt me in any way, shape, or form. It's like they're almost like more curious about me as I am about them. So,
And Jennifer says here, don't you have to have the confidence to, or they will mess with you more? So here's the
That's
thing.
it.
Yes, you can't show like doing something demonic like I did when I felt that breath on me. Was I scared? Hell yeah. But did I show it? No, I didn't. You can't show it. And then once, like the prayers start and it just gets going, like the fear leaves, like because your intention, I don't even know how to describe it. It just takes over.
Let me ask you this, Krista. You didn't show fear, and that's awesome, right? However, we all talk about intentions, but if you don't show the fear, and let's say you were fearful inside, and we talked about just 20 minutes ago how they know what our life is from young kids to adulthood. So can't they read what you're actually feeling though?
Oh, I'm sure. But however, your actions speak louder
Speak
than
louder
words.
than words.
You know, because like
Yeah.
when I felt that breath, could I have moved and jumped out of the way real quick? Yes, I didn't, but I held my ground. I did what I was told and I held my ground. And then also, you know, when all of this is going on, you know, the ladies yelling, I'm watching the guy get scratched up and blood oozing from every orifice, literally.
Yeah.
And you know, like I could have got scared and run out.
Yeah.
But it was like it kept going, you know, and just kept praying and praying and praying until literally when they say like it changes, it becomes light, it does. I witnessed it. Honest to God, 110%.
And felt it too, right? You felt that weight lift.
Right. Yeah, it was just like everything was different. I can't even describe it. But it's true. It does. And you don't have, you know, subconsciously, yes, I was scared shitless. You know, of course I was. Who wouldn't be? You know?
She said a dirty word.
But you
She
can't
said a
show it.
naughty word.
Yeah, I mean,
We're gonna be in trouble. We're gonna be in trouble.
Shit,
know-
shit.
There. Take
Can I
that,
give you
Randy.
guys a bit of okay, can I give you guys my point of view?
Sure.
So I come into this whole thing as a Buddhist. I've been a Buddhist for about 20 something years. I've never been outright saying or espousing being a Buddhist. I just say I'm a Buddhist in this field. And people see my channel, see my content, think, okay, Donny is very, I don't know,
Weird.
Dark.
not like
Donny's
I'm
fun.
trying to put the words to it. Cynical. Cynical might be the word. Just,
yeah, kind of.
I guess.
just like, okay, here's the thing. There's so many people in this cryptid paranormal community who come from a Christian background and they claim a Christian point of view, and everything that when they interpret, and the key word is interpret, cryptid and paranormal encounters, they come from a Christian point of view. Okay. All of a sudden, this one Buddhist dude comes from the Buddhist point of view, and it's all silly because he's Buddhist. So then, what choice does the Buddhist guy have?
It's
But
not silly. It's your
to
belief, what you
have a
believe.
channel of the utter ridiculousness.
I don't
Point
know.
out Bigfoot erotica.
Because it
and
comes
Bigfoot
from a
being-
place of
because
humor.
that's the only point of view that makes sense from a Buddhist.
It comes from a place of humor, Donnie. I mean, you really have to admit it.
Donny,
Because
your show comes.
Well, it's not just that though. It's just because as a Buddhist, these Western Christian people are not going to take my point of view seriously, which I get,
Why
which
wouldn't
makes
they?
sense.
But why
Well,
wouldn't
I might as well
belief?
lean into it.
So that's your belief. And if you believe that to be your truth, then that's your truth. Why would I not take what you say?
Well, apparently it's weird and it's Eastern and it's illegitimate because all these people in this cryptid paranormal community think of only in terms of the Western Christian point of view,
Now,
which is the only one that's legitimate. So
Donny,
this whole Eastern Buddhist stuff is just whatever.
Donny.
It's the freaky deaky stuff. So I might as well make a joke out of it, right?
Well, Donny,
I might as well make a joke out of it.
Donny, you
Right?
do you, and I love your show. I love what you do. I got to tell you right now, Donny, when it comes to cryptids, the paranormal, is some people believe that it has nothing to do with Christianity or Buddhism or Jehovah's Witness. Or,
Apparently, if you're Buddhist, your opinion
Hey,
on the
listen.
paranormal is not legitimate because
Well,
believe that
apparently, according to
don't
this whole
believe religion.
community, that's what it is.
I don't
Wow.
believe anything with religion.
That's what I've learned as the only
and-
Asian guy here.
I don't believe that.
Asian has nothing to do with it.
I don't. It has nothing to do with.
Yeah.
I don't. I take the Bible throughout the window when we talk about Christian.
That's yeah.
I do. I take the Buddhism Bible throughout the window.
Mhm.
I throw it all out the window. I don't go refer to the
Yeah.
Bible when we talk cryptids and paranormal.
Mm-mm.
I go with my
Not
own
one bit.
beliefs.
But you guys know what I'm talking about, though. There's so many people in this whole cryptid paranormal community who are all about the Jesus point of view, the Christian
Yeah.
point
Well-
of view. You
Well-
know,
Yeah.
you gotta be all right with God and Jesus.
Nah,
You
there's
gotta
not-
be right with the
God, God
Lord.
and Jesus, in my opinion, aren't.
And I'm sitting here as the one Asian Buddhist guy being like, "Oh, really? So what about me?"
Doesn't matter.
What about what I've seen? What about my point of view? I guess it doesn't matter. I guess it
has
doesn't
nothing.
matter.
It has nothing to do with your
Yeah.
belief system, because if you read anything about the Bible, which you know a lot about the Bible, you should know that it says, "Don't talk to the dead, because they know not what they say."
Yeah.
So, I am a Christian, but here I do talk to the non-living. So,
Yeah.
do I conform to what you're saying? No.
Yeah, you talk to the non-living, therefore you're not Christian, right?
Yeah.
From what that's what people would contrive that as, and I don't buy any of that.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
I believe you and your beliefs, right?
Yeah.
You can only somebody just made a point here. Just believe in you, and that's all that matters. Here it is.
Yeah.
Your faith gets you through, Donnie. I don't care if your faith is a rock. Don't matter. Your faith is the strongest.
And besides, Donnie, I thought you were the Pope of the Church of Dogmen.
You are the leader of the church.
Because of my
You're the
Buddhist
leader.
beliefs.
You're the leader, Donnie. What are we
just
going to do
straight
now?
up started the Church of Dogman because from a Buddhist point of view, that's the only course of action that makes sense.
Well, there's not a church, see, and you started it. You are the founder. Yeah. You are the founding father of the Church of Dogman. That's
Donnie,
what you
you're
are.
normal. Things are written in books, but they're also written in your heart.
You are the founding father, Donnie.
But you guys know what I'm talking about, right? There's so many people. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Because there's so many people in this field who are all about, you got to be right with the Lord and you'll be protected from Bigfoot. And I'm like, really? This is what we're doing? Really?
No.
You got to be right with the Lord.
Your higher power, whatever that may be.
Higher power, Don.
Your higher power.
Okay.
Has nothing to do with me.
Just making sure. Just making sure.
Your higher power is up to you.
You believe
not me.
Believe,
So Randy's been sitting there all quiet. What do you got to think, Randy?
Well, you know me. First of all, you know my feeling on organized religion in the first place because I was raised a Baptist. So every time I go on a ghost hunt, I'm spitting in the face of most Baptists because that's the way they believe.
Apparently, in this whole cryptid paranormal community, as a Buddhist, I'm the worst piece of crap there is. So
see now, Randy, now you're hearing me. You exactly knew what I said when I said it.
Yes.
Don't speak to the dead because they know not what they say.
Yeah,
exactly. So I mean,
that's why Jason McLean and I are so close because we are both best friends and worst enemies. Because I stand for everything opposite of what he stands for, and that makes us.
Opposites attract, Donnie. See, opposites attract. Yeah. There you go.
And you know what, Donnie? Over the last couple of years, I read certain comments. It doesn't matter if it's on YouTube or Facebook.
It's your truth.
Let me tell you something, Donnie. Krista, Brandy, Robbie, Randy, Donnie, Tex, all of us, we are anti-Christians because we believe in this stuff.
I guess because I don't believe in Jesus.
How can you believe in such things? They're evil.
I'm a piece of crap
every day.
Yeah.
I'm like, well,
that's one thing I learned in this community.
Follow me because you're interested.
I think this is a topic for your show, Donnie.
Well, I mean,
not
maybe we should do this on your show. Let's do this on your show.
Let's do it
because
Saturday night.
I think that we could have a really good conversation about that.
Yeah.
I think so.
I think so.
Because that's I'm kind of with you, Donnie. Because if I see somebody out there doing, I hate to say it like this, when they start off with 15 minutes and nothing but prayer requests and stuff on a show that's supposed to be about cryptid and such, I'm like, I gotta check out. I'm sorry, that's not what I tuned in for.
Anyways,
as the only Buddhist in this entire field, I'm just like looking around, being like, "Oh, okay." It's just
I really don't think you are, Donnie. We're gonna have to put out the word.
I think that the subject of saying Buddhist is immaterial. I mean, I don't use any of the word. I don't. I think it's all what you believe in, man.
Yeah.
Okay. I think you're covered, Donnie, because you do have a belief system. Yep. That's what we're talking about.
Andy.
Your belief system.
I think so.
Okay, so that being said, I'm going to log out and I'm going to have you guys leave it to you, and I'm going to enjoy my video games and peace out. Bye.
All right. Love you,
by
Donnie.
the way,
bye.
Tomorrow night, cryptid power levels. We're going to examine Bigfoot fighting Dogman versus Mothman. Can Jesus beat a Mothman?
The Mothman.
Tune in tomorrow.
All
My
right.
show.
We'll see you, Donnie.
All right.
See ya.
Bye. Peace.
Thanks, Donnie.
That's funny.
All right.
Yeah.
So with that being said, he is right. I mean, a lot of people
Yeah.
think that if you're not Christian, you are not you're not safe. And that's incorrect.
That's BS. Yeah.
That's incorrect.
Hey, listen, many people
Don't say that bad word.
A lot of people are brought up, as you all know, that don't even know what God is. They're going to hell. They don't have a belief system. So that's kind of mundane. That's people that believe that, fine, believe your beliefs, but people are taught to believe against God, this or the other.
Yeah.
Are they bad people? Like we talked about, I think the biggest thing for all of us is the higher power. Whatever you believe in, that's your source. That's what you go through. That gives you your strength to eradicate demons and evil or negativity. What you believe in, it's all that matters. As I said, and I thought, and I wasn't making a joke, if you believe in the rock in the front of your house, a stone boulder that you got from the quarry, and if you believe in that, well, guess what? More power to you. It doesn't matter.
Right. No,
because I mean, if you're all about love, peace, and happiness, you're golden. You are golden for sure.
Yeah. If you're a good person,
it's all them other things.
Yeah, as long as you're a good person, it's all really matters.
Exactly. But anyway, with that, we're at 2 hours.
I know.
Holy smokes!
Wow, we did a 2 hour show, and I was ready.
We did a 2 hour show. Holy smokes!
I was ready to go longer.
Yeah, I know.
That's my bedtime.
I was eating and tuned in. It's like, why is she up there by herself?
Because Brandy was going through a tornado.
I was going through a tornado.
Yes, tornado.
A tornado. A nader.
It didn't look like it was that bad.
Hey,
Brandy, I told everybody that what I texted you, that I went through an F3 this afternoon. It is no excuse. Get on the show. Did I or did I not tell you that?
Hey,
but you didn't have your mother in tow. I'm just saying.
Really quickly, and Brandy, I think you know this. I think I might have told Krista, for all y'all that are down south, but I was in Michigan. I watched Ryan Hall, y'all. Right? It's
I love Ryan Hall, y'all.
Ryan Hall, y'all, baby. I woke up 1:45 in the morning to thunderstorms. I turned on Ryan Hall, y'all. We had tornadoes in Michigan. And he had it right there, baby. Crazy. And I was like, holy cow, thank you, Ryan. It did not affect me. It was like 34 miles north of me. But I tell you what, Ryan Hall, y'all, he don't know me. I'm doing this for free. Check him out. The greatest weather channel on YouTube.
Right.
Also, real quick, I want to say Hellbent Holler is in chat. And if you haven't subscribed to them, do so. They just hit 35,000 and they put out great stuff. Yay. Congrats.
They got great stuff on there.
Joe and Jesse.
Great stuff. Great stuff.
They do. They're one of my favorite channels.
One day when we grow up.
Like that's never going to happen.
We're never going to grow up.
It's inevitable. We're going to grow up.
Right. Absolutely.
The day we grow up is the day I'm going to go off here.
Well, I'm going to a ghost hunt tomorrow night.
I'm going to work tomorrow.
Get some sleep.
And I'm going to buy more plants for my garden. 2 perennials and some cucumbers, and I'm done. And jalapenos.
I've already got cucumbers coming up. I got squash coming up. I got
you live in Texas. You don't count.
I've got tomatoes all over the place. I got my jalapenos are coming up good. Got some bell peppers. Oh, the beans and the peas.
Because if I was living next to you, I would be coming over. That looks good. Thank you. That looks good. Thank you.
There's an electric fence around my yard. Just to let you know that.
He got some mater plants. All right, everybody.
Really quick. What did I say? Friday?
Yeah.
Saturday night. Brandy, Krista, y'all on the 11 my
Krista
show.
Krista probably won't be.
Krista probably be hunting.
Randy
be there.
I'll be there.
Randy, if you're up, come on over. I got a great.
I'm going to be in the chat just tormenting the hell out of you.
I have some great bizarre news, including a very bizarre incident that took place in my great state of Michigan.
Oh,
so y'all
happened in the cereal aisle.
No, this is something else, Rando, and I know you're not going to let me live that down. It's the last Tuesday in July.
Oh, no, not one bit.
All
You know
right.
what you remind me of now? I'm going to say it right now. We were talking about movies. You know who he reminds me of? Burgess Meredith and Grumpy Your Old Man. When he's
Yeah, I
trying
never
to
saw it. And I
hit on the
don't-
old lady in the
Great movie.
supermarket. Want
The
to see
chick
my
that was hitting on
cannelloni?
me was like my age.
There you go.
I'm out.
All right,
That's not the
guys.
point.
Y'all have a good night. And
We'll see you
will-
tomorrow night on BMR Into the Bazaar.
All right. See you
Yep.
guys.
Good night, everybody.
Ooh.
Good night.
This is the future. Evolution.
The Crossing Realms Conference launches September 19th and 20th and will dock in Richmond, Missouri. This is already being called the event of the year, folks. With an unprecedented list of speakers and special guests, 2 days of cryptids, UFOs, and paranormal presentations, along with a celebrity-filled ghost hunt, meet and greet, gallery reading, vendors, and a film screening. This promises to be both educational and fun. Go to Eventbrite.com to secure your tickets and vendor slots before they are all abducted. They're going fast.